hang on. Oh, bloody hell.
Bloody hell, man.
Oh, bloody hell. I love rugby, I do.
I love rugby.
I love rugby, I do.
Welcome back to Sun... Oh, sorry.
Great start.
We go again.
Okay, off you go.
Welcome back to Sunday Coffee Club. This is part 2 of the Palmyra special. Hopefully the guests in this part of the episode are a bit more fucking entertaining than the 3 in the first one.
I reckon they will be, see.
Do you reckon? I think we got a cracker bear.
We have got a cracker.
We're setting the bar quite high, boys, aren't we?
I tell you what,
See
though,
what happens.
Jim, me and you both said that Bryn was our favourite guest from the first episode, and he's just solidified himself in first place because he brought Magnum honeycomb crunches, and
I come bearing gifts.
I think I've fallen in love with him. He knows me inside out.
You're an easy
he
man
does.
to please, aren't you?
I am.
Just a Magnum and a hand job will do him, won't it? Like?
I'll have to beat that out too.
Oh, you've already cursed now. You've already said a bad word.
I can swear.
He did.
I can say fuck if I want. It's fine.
Oh, look at this. I thought I thought it was going to come on a classy podcast here.
Well,
a little bit of decorum.
You're in the
I know
wrong
what you
place,
mean.
but
Apparently so.
But I am over the moon you're here, Mr. Irish, because I've been wanting to get you on for a little while because you're going to be one of my favourite guests, I'm sure, because we go back further than Perth.
We do, yeah.
boys, I'm sorry.
Go on.
We got to start with a year's one for you, man.
Oh,
Before we get into the... Jason can join in on this as well.
Yeah, go on.
So this one's from a listener and client of mine, Miss Daisy Garford. So Daisy's asked, would you rather have a mouthful of bees or have one bee up your arse?
What, inside your ass or just like on the rim?
Where else is it going to be? Inside the arse.
So how would it get in there?
Who put it in there?
Who's put them in your mouth?
Someone nasty.
Besides the point, like, it doesn't matter, does it?
I would probably say the one inside your rectum, because once he stings, that's once, and that's grand. That's just a little bit of pleasure.
That's true, it's only one sting, isn't it?
But then inside your mouth, you're going to have multiple stings, and that's going to be a problem
I
later.
completely concur, because having one up the bum would just be like having a spicy curry. A bit of ring sting, but you get through it. But if it's in your mouth and full of bees in your mouth, that's going to cause some damage for some lasting time.
Yeah, agreed. I'd take one up the arse as well, so couldn't agree more, boys. Full, clean sweep.
It's a good question.
But yeah, as we were saying, Jace, it's good to see you representing the Bowman 7 Shorts as well. That's another story for another time. But you were actually the first, I think, or one of the first to join Pally out of us boys from the UK. And
Yeah. There's excuse me. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, like it was a bit of a coincidence, really, wasn't it? It was very much a case of, I was the little spring in the dam that kind of came through, and then all of a sudden a flood of boys came flooding through. And it was all by coincidence. My other half, she's fantastic, she's great, she's doing her PhD, she's now a doctor, she tells me all the time about how smart she is, and like nothing now, no matter what I do, it's always a case of like I've been completely... I lose every argument now. No matter what it is, it's always a case of, you've got a PhD.
She's a doctor.
Yeah.
Just accept defeat.
Do call a proper medical doctor in the event of emergency. Like she's useless. But yeah, so she came over for her PhD, and we moved to Bicton originally. And I just literally Googled rugby clubs because I was playing for Clan, and I was done. I was my body was feeling pretty bad, and I wouldn't say the love of the game was gone, but I was ready for the next challenge,
Yeah.
And I googled different clubs. Palmyra came up, and I thought, well, I'll go down here. I'll play social rugby, and get to know some people. Because it's like with rugby boys. You play one game, and you have 15 friends for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And I went down there, and I joined Pally, and straight away it was just like, actually, I love this game again, and I kind of fell into the social grades, into the shenanigans, and all the kind of misbehaviour. And then the big man comes along. He's like, "Oh, should I come to Perth or go to Melbourne?" And I was like, "I'm not going to tell you what to do, but Melbourne's a bit crap, and I'm here in Perth, so it's up to you, mate." And then you came along, and then you came along.
Well, no,
and then half a pun of clean came along. Is there anyone even left in the village? Like,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's like,
Oh yeah, Ryan Wilkins. Sorry, Ray. Sorry,
he's
Ray.
down in the pub by himself sitting there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no. Well, I was living in Palmyra, so that's a wild coincidence. I was just living in there on the off
But
chance.
I didn't know you before. I've known of you because you were supposed to sign for Clan. Because you were playing in New Zealand.
remember that rumour.
Yeah, and I can't remember if you came down and watched or not. I can't remember, but there was all the rumour that you were going to come down and play for us and not go to those dirty Badgers. And next thing you know, then you're off somewhere else again. But then that's when I met you over here.
I was travelling reserve for Pont then for about 18 months. So, but no, it's a small world, and then like instantly because obviously we'll peel you right back here because you've played for Llantrisant and you lived in Llantrisant, but your accent is Northern Irish, isn't it?
I appreciate the Northern there as well, because I know you had Andy McDonald on here, and Andy McDonald's a proud Irishman, and I respect him for that there. But I'm from a little bit of a bit of a backward place, and that is Northern Ireland. And we're very much, we spent 30-40 years fighting each other, and over nothing. Like, for example, there was a riot in my hometown one year. There was a St. Paddy's Day parade, and one group was like marching through, the other group was up the top of the post office, and then someone, I don't know who, shouted St. Paddy was a prod, and that was enough to start a whole riot. That was boys chucking stuff and doing things, and the guy chucked a few things at the police, but it's all in good humour, really. I'll tell you one little story. Like, I remember it was one Halloween, and me and a couple of friends, we'd made like petrol bombs, like cocktails, like Molotov cocktails, you guys call them, but we couldn't get them like going properly. We couldn't, set in.
I hate doing that up.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare, isn't it?
Either way, though, we got one lit, and then we were so afraid of it when we had it in our hands. We threw it and it set a bridge on fire, and it only burned for like, I don't know, like an hour or something. But it was
a couple of days.
Yeah. But it was just like, it's a weird, like, again, another example. Like, my hometown it's an odd place. It's like, people don't want to leave there. So there's only two reasons to leave the town. So you're either a homosexual or you're rich, and that's it. And people would stop me in the middle of the town and go, Jason, you don't look very rich. Why have you left the town for? It's like, well, hang on. I want to have spread my wings. But yeah, that's what happened. So I was living back home. I went to played for a club called Ballynahinch. Right. And it was a big commitment. It was a 45-minute drive to get up to there. But I just wanted to play rugby. I want to do something of a physical nature, and being on the wrong side of the community, the GAA wasn't open to me at that time. So yeah, rugby was the option. And then I went to New Zealand and played a bit of rugby down in New Zealand, down in Invercargill. Met one of my best mates down there, Bill.
Southland.
Pardon? Yeah, Southland, right down there's another place too, man. It's a bit of my
mental
hometown.
place, Invercargill.
The asshole of the world.
You've lived in some places as well.
I've been around, yeah.
You were in Beda for a little while, which is also a bit of a place.
That is also another asshole of the world. That's, yeah.
The irony that their ground is called Mount Pleasant Park. Like, it just couldn't be further from the truth.
That's horrendous. But no, that's the thing. So when I came back from New Zealand, I was like, well, what am I going to do with myself? And I thought, well, I've got these A levels. I might as well go try university. And then moved over to Wales. And then met my missus, got her pregnant, and I got stuck. I fell in love. Sorry. I mispronounce that so often. Sorry. I fell in love.
Easily done.
But yeah, so then I played for Clan for about 10 years. I did play around a little bit. I had a couple of games and maybe a season for Bargoed, Clanharan.
Was that championship? Or Premiership?
No, Championship. It was before. It was around the restructural time. So I
think Clanharan were Championship at the time, because I'm sure I was in. I was in university.
Cardiff Blues boys at the time. Yeah, so they must have been Championship. But I can't remember if that was the top level or this.
No, that was when
second tier.
It was as it sounds. Yeah,
Championship,
Premiership, then Championship. That's when they were there.
I can't remember. But then I remember it just wasn't for me. It wasn't like that kind of community, togetherness that I was looking for.
Do you know? Sorry, I'll cut in there because I had a couple of Bather was different because I was very much like there's still a lot of homegrown boys there. Yeah. But like when I went to Clanharan, I had a year when they were in the championship. I remember we went to a social once and 6 boys turned up. Oh yeah. And obviously I'm not even a Clanharan boy, but it was just there was none of that off-field.
Yeah, so again, all respect to Clanharan because they're a great club and they've got a lot of history and whatnot.
They're much better off now.
Now they're way better off now, yeah.
But like when I played there, I remember sitting down in between a couple of players and these guys turned their back on this side, these boys turned their back on that side, and I was trying to get my word in.
Really?
But yeah, there was, and I guess these boys have played with each other for years and years and years, I guess, and I was just some blow-in. But no, I ended up going to Llantrisant then just to try something again a little bit more local to me rather than drive all the Clanharan. And there's the boys then that I'd go to war with.
But you don't regret not going to play for Ponacleen?
You wouldn't be. Imagine you in that clubhouse. You just wouldn't be right in that clubhouse.
My old man's a Black Army legend, but
of course he is, and I have a lot of respect for him, not for you, but for him. Yeah, definitely. But no, like the Llantrisant boys, like they're like if anyone asked me what's my home club, I would say Llantrisant because that's the one I've played for the most. They're the boys that I would go to war with, and it's always reassuring to know that if I walked in there on a Sunday, that Duke will be sitting there drinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just doing the exact same
Usual.
thing. But it's also good to know that I can go there and I can talk to the boys anytime, anywhere. And I've got friends from life, like Paul Morgan. He's a great friend of mine as well.
Yeah.
And through that.
Yeah.
But then I came here to Australia. And,
I remember speaking to you in the club about it, and because I think we played a couple of games together, and I remember talking after a game, and you were leaving to go for Australia, and I was like, "God, it's a great idea." But then I was gutted you were leaving, and then I sort of sat there for a while thinking, and I think that was one of the moments that triggered the snowball effect of me thinking to come to Australia.
You want to go now.
And to see you actually go and to make a huge success of it, and to now be head coach and stuff of the thirds and stuff, and going well there. You've
making an appearance on Sunday Coffee Club's got to be the pinnacle of your career.
Yeah, it has to be up there.
But hats off to you, and I say thank you to Pally a lot when I'm on the pod and stuff, but we wouldn't be in Perth in general if it wasn't for you. As you said, myself and Tash were thinking of going to Melbourne, but then you sold us the dream, and you were spot on.
No, I appreciate your kind words, man. I do. And we've worked hard, and Ian's worked very, very hard in our PhD, and I've worked hard in my job and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you're a good lad. Tash is a great girl as well. And if you guys had gone to Melbourne, you would have made an excellent shot of that one as well. And you wouldn't have to live with this. You would have taken this one in.
You made the wrong call.
Adopted this one.
Yeah, no, you've done a great job as well. So like I said, thanks very much for your kind words, but you've definitely earned everything you've got as well.
I genuinely mean it.
I think you made it easy for me as well, Jace, because James obviously introduced me to you in the club, and I just thought I was seeing things because I looked down. You were speaking to my cousin, I think, and I was like, "How the fuck does Lewis know?" And I looked down, you were wearing fucking Bowman 7 shorts. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But then we had a quick introduction, and we we got mutual connections and whatever straight away.
This man's very first game for Palmyra was for the mighty third grade.
This is it, and I don't think if you weren't coaching, I probably wouldn't have been as comfortable just rocking up.
That's right.
I think from my experience, from my background in education, I've always tried to create a really kind of inclusive, natural environment, and it's always good when you have boys who have the right mentality, who want to buy into it, and that environment's there to be bought into. It's so a credit to you as well. You wanted to be there, you wanted to play it, but unfortunately, we never did play one game. And you remember this, Cottesloe away. And it was us and them, in the race for the title for the minor premiership. We were down by 4 points, I think, something like that.
4, I think, yeah.
We put Rhys Morgan on, and Darren's eyes lit up. I can see the dollar signs from the other side,
Scored a try,
and he did, and he ran, and he scored the winning try. And then next week, the seconds coach is like, "Oh, who's this boy here? It's Rhys and whatever." And off we go, and he went off, and he played one game for the twos. And the next thing, he was up next game with the ones. He literally went through the whole transition of the club. I just want to say, if Darren is listening, Damo's listening, there is a transfer fee for that. So we only, our currency is alcohol, so we'll take a slab of beer.
I'll have a
haven't
couple.
played at all, so.
One day,
no, it's
hopefully.
class, but it's definitely the best thing I've done since I've been in Australia. And like I said, you made the whole process a lot easier, so thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, boys, and thanks for all your kind words. Probably not warranted, to be honest, but
no, they are.
Stop being humble, but
so you've touched on like us, you've had a couple of clubs. So I can imagine I know you've got a lot of good rugby stories. Not all of them are pod friendly.
Any you can actually tell?
Is there any rugby stories on field, off field, on rugby tour? In training,
I know there's loads of. Oh my gosh, one thing that springs to mind is we were playing a touring team. This is in Clantriston. We were playing a touring team, and there
Preston
was
Lodge, Scottish team.
I think it was Preston Lodge. Yeah. No, it might have been an English team.
Okay,
I think it was an English team we were playing. I can't remember why we were playing them, but we were playing this touring English team. And we were running riot. They were pretty hungover and whatnot. We were running riot because we were, that's when we had our, very much our pinnacle of our best team. We had a lot of talented boys, and Elliot Jones. You know Elliot Jones, don't you?
Yeah,
he used to be a fantastic little gymnast, and now he's a little fat prop.
Did he? I'll cut in. Did he have a giant testicle at that time?
No,
as well?
that was Dad.
No, Elliot did have one.
Elliot had one of them. Yeah. He was legendary in school. It was like it was literally that.
He couldn't get in a pint glass.
Really?
Same issues with Dav Mountain.
That's the one that I saw. Now that was an impressive testicle. Was it bigger or was it smaller?
Dav's was bigger, but Elliot was at it for longer, I think.
Was it as bruised as mine? Do you see mine on?
I did see yours.
I
remember that. I walked into Silly Sunday and I was like, "Oh, you're right. How's it going?" "Oh, mate, look at this." Like within 30 seconds, like, "Oh, there's your penis." There it is. I was like, why is it so black for Rhys? But this is what happened. You know, I was kind of hoping for a really good, like, it's hard. No, I just tore your groin.
Just on my groin, yeah, and all the swelling went to my one testicle. Night.
it was
like a ball there.
It really was. It was, yeah.
So at this point, Elliot would have had 2 normal bollocks. So as you were,
yeah, 2 normal bollocks, and he'd also scored 2 tries as well. And we made this break, and it was a 2-on-1 situation, and I was screaming for the ball, and all Elliot had to do was draw and pass, and I would have scored in the corner. He is a greedy little man, because he ended up doing this little step and go and beating the man, and the line was there. So I was like, I'm having none of this. So I ran over and tackled him, pulled him to the ground, jackled the ball off him, and passed it to the other team. I could hear the roars of everyone laughing on the sideline as they ran up. And the guy who caught the ball, he was like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?" I was like, "Run!" And they went off and like ran up the side. They didn't score because they were so drunk. But yeah, that's definitely one thing that springs to my mind. But like off the field, has anyone mentioned Shagger yet?
No, they haven't actually.
Really?
They have not.
Cheapers. Oh, right. Well, how do I describe Shagger?
Can you tell us the origin of the name? Or you're not?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
He said Shannon Shagger.
No. Apparently there's a proper story to it. Yeah, and I asked him when I first met him, what's the story behind it? And he was like, I'll have to sit down with you, lad, and have a drink with you, lad. I'll tell you the whole thing. I'm like, right, okay, that sounds quite epic, doesn't it? And I've just never got around to kind of find out what the crack is. But there is a proper story behind it. But like, Shagger he's like the royalty of Palmyra, isn't he?
Legend.
Yeah. And I think when he dies, I think the whole economy of Palmyra will probably die with him, to be honest.
The club will go under, yeah.
You know, he's like, but like, to be honest, he won't die. You know, when Putin drops those bombs, he'll still be in the background. Rack him up, lads, rack him up.
He's like a cockroach.
He's 100% like a cockroach. He's like 42 years old. He looks about 72 years old. And he doesn't look after himself in terms of going to the gym or his diet and stuff. But I have seen him, right? 3 boys get over the ball, go for a jackal. What happens? Shagger comes out of nowhere and blows all these 3 boys into the river.
Yeah.
Oh man, his rocking technique is absolutely fabulous. But he's also one of the best boys to go on the drink with. And the amount
best
of stories,
and worst.
It's down to perception, isn't it?
It's subjective.
It's all about perception. But like, let me just think. There was one night we were in Bali, for example. Even though officially I've never been to Bali. If anyone asks, I don't even own a passport. Okay, I've never even been to Bali. But anyway, I've been to Bali. And,
we won't tell anyone.
No, you don't tell anyone. But basically, what happened was, we were just having a bit of a drink, a bit of a dance in the club or whatever. And for whatever reason, we just ended up dancing with these transsexuals, and they were lovely girls and stuff like that. There. And then somebody came over and basically nudged into them accidentally, and then all hell broke loose as we defended the honour of these beautiful transsexual women in Bali. And I said, what are we doing here, Shagger? Why are we doing this here? Don't know, lad. Just do it. Just hit somebody, hope for the best. And I was just like, so grabbing him and pulling him away. We calmed the situation down. But like, it's just these situations where you get into, and like, what are we doing here? Like another example, I remember one day walking around the changing rooms, and there he was tackling beer kegs, and he was laying on the floor, and he stood up, and his nose was split, his eyebrow was split. Here's another story, right? I'm out of breath. This is probably the one that will like show you what he's like. So there was one day we were watching the Rugby World Cup. We were at his house. His house is Big Shaggin's Bar in Bristol. It is open for bookings, bar mitzvahs and birthdays and whatnot. But we were in there, and he was on the whiskey, boom, 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 shooting back the whiskey. And I was just sitting there watching the game, and he kind of goes over to the left hand side. There's this pole, and he starts talking to this pole. He's like, and I'm just kind of sitting there like, what's going on here? Okay, oh, all good. And then he walks kind of in behind me, and then he starts arguing with the bush. I'm like, how much whiskey is this guy to drink? But to be honest, he had a lot of whiskey to drink. And as you guys know, we have our Thirsty Thirds cap. You know, it's a very, you play your 10 games, you get
prestigious.
It's like a Peaky Blinders style cap.
That's what it's based on. But then he walks in front of me and he says, sorry, if you don't mind me asking, where the fuck did you get that hat? Oh, Jace, mate, when did you get here? And I was like, Shagger, I've been here the whole time. What's going on? And
I had your back when you were scrapping the bush.
Yeah, exactly. Next thing you know, he's passing out. He's like on the floor. I'm like, he's good crack, man.
He's wild, crack.
Yeah, but like in terms of rugby stories that are PG, I don't know if I can. I'll have to think about that.
No, I
get back to you on that. Really,
I can understand where you're coming from, but Shagger's house, I've been there once or twice, and I quite enjoyed the wrestling match that you had.
That was incredible.
That was brilliant. I'm talking not just a little tussle on the floor. You two were going for it.
Yeah.
Has anyone got a video of this? Because we can dub that over.
I'm sure I got it. I'll have a look. Because it goes on for like 5 minutes of pure
that was a
wrestling.
whole choreographed thing, man. That was like a whole thing where we had every spot planned out and we had like everything, because the boy that I wrestled, Paulie Reynolds, he's a massive wrestling fan, and I liked the wrestling when I was young, like Cool Sea Boston and stuff, you know. But yeah, like I remember we doing this and everyone just bought into it so much, and like he pedigreed me on the swimming pool steps, and you know everyone counted along 1, 2, 3, and everyone cheered as he won, and he kind of pulls away over my head and goes, "Thank you, Jace, that was amazing." I was like, the pinnacle of his life, like the crowning moment. Like, you forget the birth of his children, forget the marriage, forget that. This was the great. And he stood there with the little wrestling belt, his little pot belly, like this here, just basking in the glory of the Palmyra win. Like,
but I'll be honest, because that was that the day of the grand final, or was that Silly Sunday?
I think it was after. Sunday. I think it was after. Yeah.
So I remember a few of us were talking amongst ourselves, and you boys just kind of half announced you were going to have a fight, wasn't it? You dressed up as a scrap, or maybe you just started getting stuck into each other. Maybe I missed the intro.
Yeah, I can't remember actually. I know the Silly Sunday theme was wrestlers,
right?
And I think that's what put the seed in our head,
yeah,
right?
And then that's why someone bought the wrestling belt, and then it just kind of snowballed from there very quickly.
Yeah, but we were just kind of like half talking to each other, and it was like, oh, Jace is fighting, but and then we realised it was a play fight, and it was like, carry on. And then all of a sudden, it was like, you could see it out the corner of your eye, and you were like, fucking... It was choreographed so well that everyone was just like, captivated. It was like...
It was brilliant.
Fucking amazing.
Good crowd as well.
It was good. I jumped through that table.
Went through the table. Yeah.
And that hurt a lot. I tell you, there was only one thing that was probably more sore than that there. Do you remember Heart of Wheels?
Yes.
Do you remember that big Mary girl?
Oh, we need to get that video. We need to get that video.
Oh, so we were in the Heart of Wheels for the Bowman Sevens. We won that tournament too.
Yeah, we done well there.
Yeah. Great tournament. And we were, all having a couple of shandies at the local gentleman's club, as you do.
Yeah.
Respectful kind of thing. And I don't know how it happened, but someone had the idea of like, let's get this really big, strong prop Maori girl, like New Zealand Kiwi. Let's get her to go tackle me, And she tackled me kind of once, and it was like she kind of held back a little.
The crowd starts growing at this point.
Yeah,
I'm talking like almost 100 people.
Was this like a run it straight type
kind
challenge?
of? But I put my hands in the air like this here, and I just kind of thought, I'll just kind of have a little jump just as she hits me, just to kind of make it a little bit more kind of entertaining. Fucking melt did she hit me?
She Amadou.
She cut me in half. She cut me in half.
It was huge, and like months later, the video went viral again.
Yes,
like it keeps popping up now and then.
Do you ever remember that meme of like the of the 4 like black African guys, and there's like the coffin?
Oh yeah,
and it's like doing the little song.
yeah.
So that became quite viral, where you just saw me getting hit, and then the next scene is just these boys like dancing away. And I'm not really on social media, so you came in here, Irish, look at this here. I'm like, oh dear,
not again.
Yeah, all right, here we go again. Like. But yeah, there's that video. That's a good video. And then there's obviously the wrestling video as well. There's a couple of videos, and there's probably a good couple of videos that we shouldn't go around, like the Heart of Wheels, where me and you had a naked wrestling match in the showers.
Yeah.
We were showering off, and he insulted my honour.
It was a good little fight, to be fair.
Who won?
He put me in the bin. He put me in the bin upside down.
Yeah, so genitals in the face while you're doing that.
What did you have that as well? Straight on the head.
That is like living up to all rugby fucking stereotypes here, isn't it?
I suppose it is, isn't it? Like, yeah,
classic.
That was brilliant. I mean, we could go on all night with story time, and I'd love to have you back on, because I'd be interested in touching on the Irish history and a bit of your past growing up and stuff. That would be great.
Yeah,
but
a long one, that one.
I suppose is there any sort of rugby club post-match meals that have stood out in your time, because you've been playing rugby for a pretty long time?
Oh yeah, that's a good question, isn't it? That's a good question. I would say the Perth clubs in general do very good food.
Okay.
Yeah, like just like depends where you go to. Like Associates do good food, don't they? They have that big burger and stuff like that there. And I always enjoy.
Oh yeah,
it's
they had nachos this year. It was a nice touch.
Well, did they? Yeah. I'll say where it's not good. Certainly anywhere in Wales. Where you have your food and there's like, there you go, chips, beans and sausages, and you can clearly see it's from Aldi or like Lidl, and it's like the absolute lowest quality food. That's pretty poor. New Zealand, they looked after us quite well. Lots of curries, lots of like lots of like good chicken.
Yeah. Hearty.
Exactly. It was like exactly hearty. That's the word. But in Perth, I don't know, man. I Tompkins does great food down there. Absolutely fantastic food. Even a steak sandwich.
The steak sanger on a Thursday night.
Yeah, up there the best.
Sweet potato fries, a little bit of garlic aioli.
They've taken them off the menu now, mind.
Have they?
No sweet potato fries anymore, yeah. But the wedges are pretty good. You can swap the chips for wedges.
That's a good idea. But you do have to pay for the aioli now, which I'm fuming about.
See, you got to do it tactically. You got to be like, I want this, I want that, and when they bring it, it's like, oh, sorry, can you get me
Can you add some ketchup?
Yeah.
I did that, and they were like, I'm sorry, it's $1, you'll have to come to the
They
bar.
know how much you have, that's
right.
why, because you empty the fucking bottle every time.
I'm going to take my own bottle next time, that's for fucking sure.
Put down the sleeve of your arm, like.
I can't wait to hide his mayo. Who's the best player you played with then, Jace?
Doesn't have to be in Australia, be New Zealand,
I am
Wales.
thinking across the board.
Yeah.
When I was in New Zealand, there was a couple of Super Rugby boys that came down after the Super Rugby season ended, and they were really good. We called the hooker for the Southland Stags. Jason,
fucking Rutledge.
Rutledge, yeah.
Oh, what a
He
player.
was quality. But I'll tell you what, no, I'm going to give my shout out to Lewis Morgan.
Really?
Because I just think, just the way Lewis did everything. I think he was involved in Wales under 20s, wasn't he?
18s, I think.
16s, yeah, 16s.
And then he was in the Cardiff Blues Academy and stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I know he wrecked his knees as well, which is really unfortunate. Kind of obviously.
Yeah, he had a bad string.
Yeah, he had two ACL injuries, I think.
Yeah.
His ankle as well,
His
reconstruction, knee.
Well. Yeah.
But like when he was fit and healthy, like just the way he did everything.
The lines,
Like I would see something in front of me and I'd be like, I'm just going to run into that there, and then all of a sudden Lewis would scream for the ball, and all of a sudden he'd made a half break or a full break, and it's again just the way he did things. So you'd be coming across the field and he would just hit a tackle, and you'd hit the tackle and then get up and then go next job, and he just off he goes. You're just like a freight train. Yeah. Off to go to the next job, and I'm still like running around trying to figure out what happened. It's like, and it's just like kind of the way he conducted himself, the way he held himself, the way he just kind of led the boys. And when that Clantrissan team was really really good, your Jack Bunions and your Dab Israels, your Jack Bones, these boys here, that was a really really strong team, and it was an awesome team to play, and it was a really really enjoyable season in Division 1 and stuff like that there. But yeah, so I would definitely say Lewis Morgan is definitely up there. I'll give my shout out to. Yeah,
little cuz, keep it in the family. I'll take that.
Why not? And he also paid me for that. So.
Not much a tight fucker.
I suppose one last question to touch on. Now you're a little bit older than us. You're making the transition from playing into the coaching world. What's the sort of your plan? Is it do your coaching badges make your way up?
That is another good question. So I've been told to retire 4 times.
When was the first time?
Mr. Pemberton, the knee specialist down in Cardiff, he told me that professionally I have to, you should retire, but practically this is what we should do, and I'll see you in 10 years time for a knee replacement. And I was like, oh, cheapers, oh. That was I don't know, that's
quite young.
Yeah, it was
10 years ago?
In my 20s. I was in my 20s at the time. Yeah. So that was a while ago now. And then I got told by a couple of other the last knee surgery that I had then, and then my shoulder surgery I had been told then. I believe I got one more retirement in me. That's what I
okay.
I reckon I can maybe get one more time and maybe squeeze it out. And if I can get to 40 and play, I'm 38 now. If I can maybe get to 40 and play, we'll see what happens. But in terms of coaching, I've really enjoyed coaching the 3rd grade this year, because the 3rd grade and the 4th grade. So what we do is I'm the forwards coach for the 3rd and the 4th grade. KB is the backs coach for the 3rd and the 4th grade. And we try to run as one whole squad. Okay. And I would describe it as kind of the community team, I suppose. Yeah. Because loads of these boys are there with their families, and their kids are coming to watch. And a lot of these boys have grown up through the club, and then a lot of these boys have played Premier Grade Rugby, but then...
And they put a lot of money into the club as well.
Yeah, and they have, they definitely have. So it's been a really kind of enjoyable experience coaching boys who knows loads, like Sanga and Shane Manu and Sam Green and these kind of loads. But then you have the other kind of part of the spectrum where boys, you're sitting down with them and you're refining certain aspects like rucking technique or tackling technique, and you're doing essentially very much teaching them fundamentals. So that aspect's been really really good. I think it's a learning curve that I'll have to kind of really step into. I think I need to accept retirement probably and say that it is time that I probably, another year of doing rehab is quite challenging mentally. So I think it's probably time I need to accept that there and try to put that away. Do you know what I mean? And just say this, I'm not doing this anymore. I need to focus on this. But that's proven quite challenging. So for example, against Netherlands, and when we played them, I had to go be told by the senior players to go sit down because my energy was just like, at one point the boys were doing stuff behind the post to warm up, and I tried to say like, come on boys, it's a big game, we have to get into it, and it just came out like the Tasmanian devil, like blah, blah, blah. And I was just so overstimulated, and it was Sam Green that pulled me to the side to like, you need to, you're not playing now, there's nothing you can do to change this, you need to go over there and I took that on board. So it's those things there that I have to really kind of embrace. So I think right now, what I'll say, what my plan is this year is transitional year where I need to go for my rehab. I need to either decide if I'm going to play again or not play again. I know logically I shouldn't play again, but
you got to see how the body is in a few months.
Yeah, and even watching training, like I saw Ruben Chubb, great player, hitting player. Boys on Thursday night and whatnot. And I was just like, fuck, I wish that was me. I wish that was me. Just being tackled or tackling, and because it's addictive. Because I was saying to the boys downstairs, like, you play rugby and you're in the warm up, and it's like you're so nervous. It's like, what am I doing this for? Like, what am I doing this for? And then you walk off the pitch, you go into the changing rooms. This is why I do it. It's just the best feeling. It's so addictive. Yeah. It's so addictive. Win. Like, if it wasn't for rugby, I don't know what I'd be doing.
No, I agree with heroin.
But yeah, I think long term. So this year, transitional. Let's get all that energy out. Let's change my mindset about my approach to rugby and be a bit more player focused rather than I am a player. And then probably get my coaching badges and see where I can go to. I think I've got a lot of gaps in my knowledge that will need to be filled in. But yeah, hopefully maybe this year the 3s, the 4s, and maybe the year after maybe go off and support Chucky and the Colts, maybe have a year with the girls as well and develop that aspect of it, and then see where I go.
It's brilliant to hear, because I know that transition from playing to retirement is hard, and I think you're going about it in a very good way with your coaching, and then you are bringing a lot to the club. I know you've taken on a lot of roles lately and you're giving a lot to the club, and it doesn't go unnoticed, so
I appreciate that.
Do wish you all the best with it all, and I know with your passion and your knowledge and your relationship skills, you will be able to take it a long way.
Yeah, hopefully. It's one thing I do need to. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. No, I really do. And it's just one of those things I need to refine more. It's just doing the politics side of things, I suppose. I don't mean the politics in a bad way, but the networking, that's the better word.
Yeah.
The networking aspect of it, that's a big kind of...
different hat to wear now,
exactly,
isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, you have that work hat, don't you? And you have the rugby hat and you have the social hat. But then I'm developing that new hat of the... part-time professional kind of thing. Yeah. And it's a challenge, but hopefully I will get there.
You will.
Hopefully I will.
So you heard here first, JC's going to be first grade coach in 5 years. But if Shagger's still going, you go another season, then you definitely. So
that man has genetics that is just...
Get him in a lab.
100%. Like, you ever heard the story about Ozzy Osbourne? And they did like a test on his like genetics and DNA, and apparently he's got some sort of genetic defect that makes him more tolerant to drugs and alcohol and addiction and all that kind of stuff. 100% Shagger has that same. 100%.
Could be related. Huge relation to Ozzy.
Yeah, he might be.
Right, it's been a pleasure, Jace. We better get Ghoulie on before he falls asleep. But no, like Jimmy said, all the best. Thank you very much again for coming on.
Thanks for having me, boys. I appreciate it.
And look forward to taking the field with you for the Thirsty Thirds again one day soon.
Hopefully we'll get you back.
I need a cap, but so I'm definitely coming back.
We've got one so far, so you need another 9.
9 to go. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Happy days. Cheers, Jace.
Yeah, thank you, boys. I appreciate it, lads. Thanks very much.
Been a pleasure.
Oh, man.
How are you going to edit this bit in?
Fuck, I'll just say we fucked up.
Okay.
We got one important question that we completely forgot to ask, so Jace is back.
He's back.
That's my boy. James, you can ask it, because I can't remember how to word it.
Mid-swig.
Such a professional, man.
Yeah, very good.
We touched on it in part one. As people are aware, myself and Rhys are imports. What are your opinions and thoughts on imports coming to the club?
Ooh. As in boys who are bought in, or?
Boys that are paid to come in or flown over just to play for the club, more than the my buddy comes to watch me sort of vibe.
Yeah. That's another good question, man. You boys are really, testing the old head here. So I think inevitably you always have to bring players in, aren't you? You're gonna always have to, especially in those key positions. The nines, the tens, the hookers, the things like that. There, so
especially to compete with some of the top teams because they spray cash about. And it's a great standard, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's probably a couple of points I can bring up on this here. Certainly it's a case you always have to bring in players, and when you bring those players in, you obviously want them to adopt the culture that we have in the club, and you buy into that culture and become almost seamless. But of course, like in life, everything's a balance. And when you have potentially too many boys coming in, and then too many boys have to adopt the culture, then all of a sudden that majority, becomes the minority, and then that bigger majority, then all of a sudden it becomes a bit rudderless and a little bit seamless. And as you say, Rhys, if you want to be competitive, you have to bring in some players. But of course, we're sitting here, and how many Australians have you guys had on this so far? Do you know what I mean? And obviously the Australian game, the international game, is not where it used to be. Like the Lions this year, probably going to be a 3-test win for the Lions.
Yeah,
I'd love to see Australia be competitive, but I think by the second or third test, the Lions will probably hit their stride. And it's a case of how's it serving Australian rugby, how's it serving the Western Force, how's it serving domestic rugby here. And if you want to be competitive, you have to bring in players in, but then the league becomes a little bit artificially. It's almost like a false economy, I suppose, where you have 3 or 4 teams that can be competitive, and then everybody else is kind of trying to play catch up.
Yeah.
But like I said, it is all about that balance where if you bring in the right players in the right position, sometimes even in the right positions, just bring in sometimes boys for the right philosophy. It's a bit like what do you call that nutter from the Wales team?
Andy Powell.
Andy Powell.
How do you know that? You could have guessed anyone. So I heard a story about him that he was brought on the Lions tour just for personality. Just for. Did you hear that as well?
Oh,
he's a great tourist, and he's a beauty.
Yeah. And he came down for our club. Do you remember he came down for our club dinner?
He's brilliant. Night.
He was one of the best speakers we've ever had. And the story that he told us about a couple of girls and a strap-on was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Did he tell you the Cat Dealey one as well?
That was the Cat Dealey one.
He got with it, didn't he?
He did. Yeah. I saw the rugby pod live, and he told that story a couple of times, but I won't go into great detail.
Maybe not here. Copyright, But so maybe just sometimes you've got to bring the right people in for the tourist kind of aspect of it, to buy into the culture, and then obviously bring in certain people in certain positions. But like I said, it is important that you bring players in, but it is important that we strike that balance, because we can't lose our identity. I don't think it's happened this year, but probably years gone by. That probably has been a concern of some people, and there was concern amongst some people in the club. It's gone now. It's not there now per se, but some people had said, "Oh, it's their club and it's our club," kind of thing. But it's all about if we can keep on doing this, the work that we're doing, like the Pally Pong thing, and then maybe the end of year tour, which you boys are going to go to.
Hopefully, yeah.
Bali.
Hopefully.
And then we just build that culture up again, because ultimately it's our club, isn't it? The club is just a badge. That's just a badge. What really is the club is the people that's inside it, and as long as those people are inside it, that club is then, that badge is represented by the right sense of culture and community. So it's all about balance. I always say it's all about balance.
Yeah, because I do see a lot of on-field benefits, but it's the off-field that does get tarnished.
Yeah.
I think one thing certainly in the last couple of years that seems to be really strong is that cults system, and I think there's a few boys who've come through into the senior grades this year, like a few of them established second team players and on the fringes of the Prems, but boys like Vinny, Ali Alatini's fucking unbelievable. And there's a big emphasis on this, there's a, what do they call it, the mentorship system in the Colts. So there's Prem grade boys who are mentoring academy boys. And then, I think it's helped leaps and bounds. I think that's a great idea. And there is a lot of homegrown talent in compared to other clubs, like second grade are really strong, third grade are really strong.
Yeah. And
there's a great heartbeat there.
Yeah, it's definitely a case as well. I was thinking of this the other day. And it's a case of, if we get as many homegrown boys in that team, And it's just not like homegrown boys in terms of like coming up through the system, but it's also the boys like yourselves that have come in and have bought into the kind of the philosophy, and you're going to be there for essentially lifers and to a certain degree. But like when you boys get a little bit too old, you boys will probably play down the grades and third grades and the fourth grades, and those boys then that are younger at playing third and fourth grade, then those boys are going to learn off you, and then then develop from there. Like for example, Vinny last year, we were playing Bayswater. We were playing for the seconds. And I came on, we were losing, and I remember saying to Vinny, and Vinny will say this as well, I came on to Vinny and I was like, just boss me around, mate, boss me around. Because by that point, he was being quite quiet, he was being a bit timid. And I was like, boss me around, tell us, just by me saying that, from that senior leader kind of player perspective, all of a sudden he's like, oh shit, yeah, I can, okay, this guy here is telling me I can do this, so I've got permission. If that game had gone on for another 10 minutes, we would have won that game. We would have won that game because we came back and we clawed our way back and we showed a lot of character and strength. And that's what we want ultimately. We want boys who are going to stay around the club, play for the third and the fourth, and then when they have kids, they're the next generation coming through. We always want that. And ultimately what happens sometimes when people come in, they'll take their paycheck or whatever, and then they'll go again, and they might be a great servant to the club, but ultimately we can't have too much of that there, because then all of a sudden we haven't got that filtering down process. We haven't got that process of bringing families up, because you might not play first grade, or you might not go on to play for the Western Force, but you may be there at the bar, buying a few drinks, bringing your kids there, and all of a sudden that is much more successful to the club in the long term because we have that long term stability. But of course, having a good shop window like the Prem grades is really important, because that's how we attract sponsors.
100%.
Yeah.
That's really important.
It's difficult to get that balance right, but it's never too late to start trying to fix it. So
100%.
You're very much in control
Good
of the
luck.
threes and the fourths. I think us in the leadership group now are doing well controlling the ones and the twos, so we'll work together and we can make some positive changes. I reckon.
Just need to bring everyone together and what's the great unifying factor? Alcohol. So what we just need to do is get some more opportunities. If we get a clean sweep against Bayswater this week, Wanneroo, let's get some jugs on. Just get everyone around. And I've got the karaoke booked as well. Gonna bring
After Wanneroo?
After Wanneroo, I've got my guitar. Gonna bring that down. We're gonna do a little bit of sings with that there.
Fucking right.
So hopefully that'll be really good. But yes, it's certainly a case of we're in the right direction, but it's a case of let's just make sure we steady the ship and stay on the line that we need to be on for the long term benefit of the club. And ultimately, I want the club to do well, but I want every club in Western Australia to do well, because there's no point being the tallest dwarf. There's no point being a team that dominates everyone else. I want rugby to be the most dominant sport on earth. I want 5 professional Australian teams, and then a strong Wallaby team, a strong Wales team. Oh, God bless you.
Be a while.
I really hope you boys bounce back.
Be waiting a while there.
I really hope you boys bounce back. That's probably a whole podcast there.
It is
about my perspective,
right.
especially from the educational point of view. Because I grew, I taught in the Pontypridd district, and there's a whole story there. But we want to see that there. And then, God willing, one day, maybe Ireland will get past a quarter final of a World Cup. That would be the day. And then we go on to win the thing, because again, there's no point, flogging whoever in the Premiership, say, I don't know, Joondalup or whoever it may be. No disrespect to them, of course, but whoever. You don't want to see that. You want to see a really good competitive game the whole way through the league, and then be the crying premiers at the end of that. That is going to be much more rewarding than just look, here's 200 grand.
Yeah, spent a load of money. Yeah,
well done.
Yeah,
well done.
No, I appreciate that perspective, Jace, and hopefully a few people are listening that can fix it, and we're some of them.
Well, on the committee, we are trying our best as well. We are trying to. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right, thank you very much, sir. We'll get Ghoulie on before fucking midnight, and that'll be us. Cheers, Jace.
Boys. Thank you.
I think we saved the best till last year.
I reckon we might have,
It was meant to be first, but someone had a hot date night, so...
Yeah. What happened there, man? How have you got demoted from first to last? That's shocking.
Well, they save the best to laugh usually, so mate, I'm happy with being last. I'm a bit, as I said, I went through an emotional roller coaster downstairs, hearing the ums and ahs of the club and hearing the glory days. Still ahead of us, I think. I think I'm still due 3 premierships.
It's in our
Coaching 2,
control.
playing 1.
Hopefully I'll finish a grand final at some point in my career.
Hopefully I'll play a grand final that I win eventually.
Who are you anyway, bud?
The name is Liam Ghoulie, aka Ghoulie, aka MCGOOLI.
Have you got a middle name?
Yeah, I do. Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
It's alright.
Yeah, that's
pretty
acceptable.
plain,
Yeah.
Yeah.
LMG.
And how long have you been at the club? Because I know you were a junior for a little while, weren't you?
I was junior up so my rugby career started in Melbourne. I played touch for like one season. I hated it. And then played basketball. I've told this story before. I played basketball and figured out that I can only move forwards and backwards and wasn't very tall or athletic, so I didn't get the ball passing me lots. And Dad said, fuck it, we'll go and go play at junior up. And I stayed there from, I think I was 9 until I was 20. And then,
quite a while.
Yeah,
Stint.
for ages, yeah. And then came to Pally. My first training session was December 2019.
Right. So where's your family from then? They're not Melbourne, are they?
Nah, so I'm born in Johannesburg. My older sister's born in Johannesburg. Mum and Dad South African, and my younger sister was born in Melbourne.
Right, okay. First South African on the pod. Quite exciting.
What's your positional background? Like, have you always played the same position, or have you?
It's quite ironic. Started at tight head prop. So you can imagine a tight head prop 9-year-old trying to play basketball.
Ah, okay.
So it's obviously clean off.
Clean off. I like that.
Clean off.
Slip that in
Clean
there.
off.
That old Kiwi phrase.
Proper clean
Classic.
off, boys. I promise you.
Talking that accent all night, then go on.
I'm trying. Okay. So
Nice one, bud.
started off at number 3, tight head prop.
Oof.
Slowly got tall. Everyone else got short and fatter. So I moved to second row.
Nice.
Second row turned into number 8. Number 8 turned into number 7. 7 went back to 6 because I got a little bit fatter. 6 got back into lock. Played a bit of hooker, then played a bit of tight head prop, and now they call me the utility forward of Palmyra. Our head coach actually said to me, Liam, actually the other day we were going through our depth chart and we were going through tight head all the way down to number 8, and you're in every single position. I said, Darren, that's clean off, I promise you. You're not lying, are you? That's a genuine conversation. Like, he actually said that to me. He
He's
said,
got you in
imagine
every
that.
position, yeah.
He's had me in every position.
I bet he has got a depth chart as well, probably up on his bedroom wall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100% ours. But that's
on the
impressive.
toilet door, like where the times tables used to be.
I'm bottom of the list on 10 and 15.
He said I was 4th or 5th at halfback as well, so it's an honour. Yeah. Well, he wouldn't lie to me, would he? No.
Oh, so when did you move from South Africa? Do you remember much of it?
I remember like 2 memories in South Africa. I remember one, my dad's mum cooking for me, and I remember sitting there watching her, and then I remember my dad throwing me into a pool.
Ah, okay. So there's never any trouble or anything like that?
No. And then I moved over when I was like 18 months old, so like literally like blink of the eye memories.
Okay. Yeah.
And then moved to Melbourne till I was 7 or 8, and then moved to Perth.
Ah, right. Because I was going to ask, a lot of people ask where to live in Perth, in Australia, Perth, Melbourne, Sydney, but at that age you probably haven't got much of an opinion of it, which is better.
Melbourne was real. My memories of Melbourne were awesome because there was the only thing I remember from Melbourne there was so many kids about that you could muck around. Like you just hang out all the time on the streets. But as they say, like proper cabin fever. You have 4 seasons one day.
Yeah.
Hail at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then it's 35 degrees at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But you remember the weather like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's always damp, but then like humid because the sun comes out.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, moved to Perth. Moved to Perth because all the family was there.
Yeah, okay. Right.
And then moved to the northern suburbs, which is it's a bit of a cliche, but that's where all the English, Scottish, Irish, South Africans move up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed there's a bit of a big community up there, isn't there, the South African community? There's a lot up there.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's
Loads
actually
of it.
massive up in the northern suburbs, and then also huge down in like Rockingham as well.
Oh, okay.
Really?
So both ends.
Yeah.
But it makes sense though, because it's like cheaper housing.
Yeah.
Just more family community and smaller suburbs.
I got you.
Yeah.
I think it used to be able to fly direct, didn't you, from South Africa? I think that's why so many came here. That's what someone told me.
I think they brought it back recently.
Oh, it's
actually.
back, is
Yeah,
it?
I think
So my parents just got back. They got back yesterday night from South Africa,
Oh, okay.
and they flew direct.
Happy days, bro.
And what are you doing with yourself in the days then? What do you do for work?
Me, I'm a school teacher.
Ooh.
Happily, graduated last year, so I'm very happily
Well done.
in my job. It was a long stretch for me. Had a couple years off, and obviously COVID didn't go back to uni. I teach drama. Drama. Yep. So yeah, I get that all the time.
Well, they always think PE or something like that, do they? And then
Yeah. So
quite
PE,
sharp.
I do teach PE as well, but first love's in drama. Love performing. Love just being on stage. I have a really
Doing accents.
Yeah, doing accents. Love doing my accents. I do.
What's your most favourite role you've played on stage then, or in theatres and shows? Anything stand out to you?
My first favourite role, I played Link Larkin for Hairspray.
Oh, yeah. Great film.
That was awesome. So I'm the one that falls in love with Tracy Turnblad, the fat chick.
Yeah, the main girl.
And he's a bit of a dimwit.
I haven't seen it.
You have not seen it?
Sorry to admit, no, I haven't seen it.
It's a classic.
I'd probably love it as well, I know.
You would
love
honestly.
it. You would love it.
I don't know why I've never watched it.
It would be our generation of Grease, I think.
Yeah.
So it landed in that adult period where High School Musical came out, then Hairspray, and the Hairspray was for like us growing up. So it made a lot of sense. Lots of like racial undertones of the 60s and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But my favourite role I've ever played, I played a pyromaniac that was locked up in a mental asylum for an Australian play called Cozzy, and his name was Doug. And he had this like sexual fetish for turning on, for like lighting fires.
Fire.
Yeah, it was awesome. So he's an arsonist and he got locked up for being an arsonist. And there's a famous line that he says, he goes, "And I was watching the house burn and I just had this massive hard on. And you could hear the cats howling and burning and you just thought, you'd want to let them out, but..." So yeah, that's what it is. That was one of the monologues I had to do. It was awesome.
I can imagine you really loving that role and proper buying into that role. I'd love to find some videos one day. If there's any videos out
There's a video. There is a video somewhere of me doing like the last scene. So if you want it, I'll send it to you.
Yes,
It'll be on
please.
screen now. So.
Right now. What is your guilty pleasure?
I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure because if you look back at it about 20 years ago, you'd be like, "Oh, you're a loser, mate." But I really love watching like cooking videos.
I do.
My missus hates me because I will sit and I'll put YouTube on. I won't watch Netflix. I won't watch Paramount. I won't watch Stan, nothing. I'll sit there and I'll watch hours and hours and hours of cooking videos.
Are they in the bush or a certain place? Are they in New York? Or is it?
My favourite chef's Matty Matheson.
I thought you were saying.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said him.
I've met him once.
No way.
Yeah, I met him. He did a meet and greet at a place called Street X, which is a Australian streetwear company.
Yeah.
And I met him, and I dislocated my shoulder, and I was at uni, and I had to leave uni early, and I was like, gotta go meet this guy. I met him, and I think, for what my memory is, he was not happy to be there. And it turns out that his son was born when he was in Perth, so he was like, "Man, I just want to go home and see my son."
Yeah, fair.
My kid, like.
And I walked up there, my arm was in a sling, and I was like, "Hey," like full fanboy, was like, "Hi, nice to meet you." It's like, hi, nice to meet you, mate. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, can you sign my shirt?" He said, "Yeah, come on, let's go, sign the shirt." And walked past him, I was like, "Really loving all that you're doing, and hopefully you keep it up, and can I get a photo?" And he was like, and he had the cigarette in his mouth, he's like, "Okay." Puts the cigarette down, he's like, "Can someone take this photo, please?" I walked away and I've gone, I don't know if I like that guy. It's that famous saying, like, you never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
You never meet your heroes, hey?
Nah.
But yeah, Matty.
And everyone has an off day, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Everyone has an
for
off
sure.
day.
You can't blame him. And
You can understand where he's come from.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, just check your mic is in the correct spot. I think you were talking at the side of him a bit, but it'll be alright.
Sorry, is this
Sound will
bad?
be alright.
Check one.
The video's probably gone off by now anyway, so
I'll check your
don't
quick.
really matter.
That's actually class. I was watching this morning.
Yeah, I've got both of his cooking books.
Have you?
Yeah,
He's
I've got
cool
both
as fuck.
his
He's just
cooking
got that. He's got that. What's the word? Like aura. That charisma.
Yeah. I
That
think it's
suave charisma
the
about him,
soft,
like
yeah.
I think he was the first genuine rock star, like party boy, chef of our generation. Because like back in the 90s and 80s, you had Anthony Bourdain, and he used to do the heroin and the cocaine sort of vibe, and Matty Matheson had this like punk rock acid party vibe that he kind of just had it, and he was covered in all the tattoos and stuff, and and the food he makes is relatable because everyone wakes up hungover and just wants to eat fucking eggs and cheese and sauce and sriracha and spam, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh God, I gotta eat my chicken and rice for the next 8 days. Shoot me! Why can't I be like you, Matty?"
Well, while we're on the topic of guilty pleasures, then you're a bit of a music man, cool.
Yep.
And much to Jimmy and I's dismay in the change rooms before a game, you are quite partial to a bit of D&B as the pre-match, which can't say I agree with, but you know it's subjective. Before we get into music, because I know we can delve right into this. Have you got any guilty pleasures
For music, I
What are you singing in the shower when...
Singing in the shower today, I was singing Bobby Darin.
Somewhere Beyond the Sea?
No. What was the song? In a cavern, down by a canyon, excavating for a mile, there lived a miner from North Carolina, and his name was Chubby Clementine. That's the song, Chubby Clementine.
Chubby Clementine.
And he sings this ballad about how this girl dies. She falls into a mine and she dies, and they watch her like drown.
Jesus.
It's quite a happy song for
the event.
How morbid the song
What's
is.
the other Bobby Darin song? Is this Splish Splish Splash? I was taking
No.
a... Is that Bobby Darin?
Beyond the Sea.
Beyond the Sea.
Beyond the Sea, yeah.
Who sings Splish Splash then?
Splish
Some
Splash.
motherfucker.
I got no idea.
So I've only been exposed to your drum and bass addiction. So you are open to all genres then, by the sounds.
But he's into Jerry Cinnamon. He's the only Aussie person... Well, you're not really Aussie.
Bad Boy Chiller Crew he likes as well. Which I was
BB.
Yeah, what the fuck is that about?
But you got to understand. I grew up with I've got one Australian best mate of all time.
True.
My other best mate is Portuguese. The other one's from Zimbabwe. The other one's from another Zimbabwean. The other one's from the West End. That's why I'm a West End fan.
Oh, right, okay.
The other one's from New Zealand. The other one's from Niue. Where's Niue? I don't know.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly. And
I have no idea.
And the other one's a Kiwi.
No idea.
Yeah. So like I've grown, and then one of my bestest mates of all time, Scottish as well. He got me into drum and bass, garage music. Big shout out to People Just Do Nothing.
Okay.
One of the best TV shows I've ever watched. And you talk to Australian people, they're like, I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Because you are quite cultured, and we've always said that I think you'd suit Bristol. Thinking back home for
Yeah.
That
Right
vibe.
in Bristol.
Bristol's massive in that whole like, drum and bass, garage music
Edgy
sort of vibe.
kind of scene, yeah.
I wouldn't call myself edgy. I just like the music. And I like
Are you
the
big into
sound.
your fashion as well? You dress well, but...
Well, thank
Can't
you very
tell
much.
tonight. But, most of the time.
I dress well for a big boy. I mean, I need to take a leaf out of your book because I don't know about your Clarks that you rocked up in the other day.
I can't believe that you
They're
are
actually
all
Clarks.
gonna. Yeah,
Oh, fuck off. You wouldn't wear them.
boys, you'll all be
wouldn't
wearing
wear
them soon. I'm telling you now, you'll all be wearing Clarks.
Jimmy, they used to there's this place in Perth called Lo-Fi and they sold Clarks there. And I looked at them and I was like, mate, you got to catch me in like a priest uniform to wear that thing, mate. They look rank. With the little tassels
wear
on
them
the
to
top
cut the
and
grass,
stuff.
man.
Oh, fuck.
Look, trust me, Daddy.
They're clean off,
they're
Jimmy.
coming
I
in.
promise you, boy. They're clean off.
Fucking clean
Proper
off.
clean off, man.
One day you'll get it, boys. You'll get it.
I don't know.
What were you saying that about the other day?
Staying up late, wasn't it?
No, it was your Birkenstock clogs. You reckon you beat the fashion on them?
Yeah, so you know,
Boston's.
you know the Birkenstocks, yeah, like sort of clogs. I remember I wore them to the first rugby session in Pontypridd, and I got called out. I had to stand at the front and explain them. Then in front of the whole team, explain what I was wearing on my feet. And I was like, oh, boys, give it a couple of years and you'll be wearing these. And now they're all wearing the Birks, you know.
I used to bully people who used to wear the 2-strap Birks. I've gone through 3 pairs now. So I can't talk. Yeah. It all goes round, doesn't it?
It does.
Sure
it
does.
Reminds me of if you were in a commune in the 70s, you'd be rolling around in Birkenstocks with your long hair talking about free love and stuff, and now we're rolling around fucking Cottesloe Beach Hotel and everyone's rocking around in them. Oh,
Well, let's go back to acting then. So, you said you're a big actor yourself. Who would play you in a film of your life?
Oof. I've got one that comes to mind. It's a guy that is in a skit comedy group from Australia called Auntie Donna. So the bald guy's name is Broden Kelly. That would be my Australian counterpart. He's bald. I don't know why I keep seeing myself as bald on film. And the other one that came to mind that we were speaking about downstairs was John Malkovich.
Oh yeah,
Lenny.
Lenny.
John Malkovich.
Oh, yeah, I know.
My
I
name
know.
is John Malkovich.
That's fucking Pascal Savage as well, isn't he?
I don't know why it came to mind, but yeah. Or it'd be Samuel L. Jackson or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Because he's just completely not what you look like, is he?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
He's taller.
I do swear less as well, so yeah.
So, bringing it back to the rugby scene, why did you come to Pally from Joondalup, you say? Did you move down from family? Family moved out? Or?
No, so my first 2 years at Pally, I was actually just living in Midday, and I actually drove like 45 minutes every training session to go and play. I can't lie, they were the first team to ever offer me a contract.
Oh, okay.
And it was nice to feel wanted. And at that moment in my life, in my rugby career, I just fell out of love for the game. And I think I'd always had minds to go overseas and try something. But I was also in that second mind of going, I want to finish uni. Oh, I don't know what I want to do. And I had a little trial in the US for a college team there. And I went there, and that kind of bit that aspiration to go play overseas in the butt pretty quickly, because I just didn't enjoy it. Like, the boys were good, the rugby was fine, but I just got there and I said, it's never going to work.
Okay.
It was never going to work. And plus the university thing was like, you go over there, you do 4 years, you got to come back to Perth and then do an extra 2 years to get your masters to teach. And I was like, I'm not doing 6 years of uni. There's no ways.
Yeah, just for the sake of it.
Yeah, for sure. And then I got a call from Jack Lloyd, who was the predecessor before
Darren, wasn't he?
Before Darren,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And he said to me, do you want to come down? We need a hooker back rower that can play. And I said, mate, no worries. I'll just let you know I'm in Mindara. And he says, nah, we'll sort you out. We'll pay you rego. We'll give you $50 a game, some fuel money. If you start, we'll give you some money. Rah, rah, rah. And then, it was a shoo-in. I actually played a lot of rugby with Andy's twin brother, Michael.
Oh, he's a good player.
The better McDonald.
The better one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
the better twin.
Andy's better crack, but Michael's better on the field. And I turned around to Michael one day and I said, mate, if I ever got to move clubs, I'll come to Pally. He was like, yeah, cool. And I kept my word. I moved to Pally.
Good man.
I've loved it ever since, you know.
Good on you.
I mean, you hear a lot of good sides of Pally, but is there anything you'd improve, or you think Pally's got room to grow?
There's lots of things you can say. But then there's, you got to be diplomatic on these things, because there's lots of people that'll listen to this and take things the wrong way. I mean, number one thing for me is, you've got to repay the people that have stuck it out the most.
Okay.
And I'm not talking like give people contracts that have been here, because if they're not going to play rugby to the standard that the people that are coming in, you can't expect them to do the same job as someone coming in and earning the same money.
Okay.
I'm just saying, look after the people that have been here a while, that offer you a lot. Check in on them. Ask their opinions. Think about how some decisions are going to affect the people that have been here the longest. And I've not even been in Pally for the longest. I've been there this is my 5th year. So I'm not even talking about me. I'm talking about the old boys that are floating about. I'm talking about your Tyrants. I'm talking about your Pearson Kenningtons and stuff.
Cale Bissett.
Bissett, Henny.
Yeah, looking forward to him coming back.
Juniors, some of the boys that have put their life into this club.
Yeah.
You've got to check in with those people and see how they feel, because at the end of the day, those are the guys who are going to have their kids playing for this club.
Yeah,
Which that's my only thing. And I never wanted Tompkins to get upgraded. I liked it when it was still an old rugby club.
I'm glad that I missed the old days of that. I've seen some videos now and then. Shorty diving on
I want a
tables.
shorty on the
beautiful,
tables.
yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
That'll be on the screen now.
So have you got many stories then over the years, like on field, off field, on tour? Anything
On
comes to
field,
mind?
I've got 2 on field. One when my first game for Pally, and then the second one was against Pally. It was not my last game against Pally. It was my last Colts game, which was a grand final against Pally. And I was the skipper of the Joondalup team. And we've rolled out there. We should never have beaten UWA in the semi-final.
Yeah.
We've beaten UWA in the semi-final somehow. And now we've got to go versus Pally in the grand final, undefeated team. And I'm the skipper, and I'm standing in the change, and I'm going, boys, we've got to give it our all. This is, a lot of us won't ever get a chance to play in a grand final. The usual cliche, some of us will never play together again. And, I won't see any of you after this, and blah, blah, blah. We ended up getting beaten 45-5. First person who comes after me for the presentation afterwards, little old friend of mine, one of my very, very favourite people at Pally, Kim Short. Walks up to me and goes, hey, Liam, how you going? Here's a microphone. Do you want to say a couple words? And he passes his microphone.
Nope.
I'm on the verge of tears, and I'm gone. Thanks for having us, Pally. My boys, well done. It's been a long season. Enjoy the beers, and I'll see you boys next year. And I walk off, and then Kim Short's walking past. He pats me in the back. He's like, thanks for that, mate. Really appreciate it. Do you want to come shake hands? I was like, mate, please leave me alone. You've got to leave me alone. Shorty, Leighton Short, and Henny still talk to me about that game all the time. They're like, "Oh, how'd you go on that Colts ground?" Do one, mate. And then my first game I ever played for Pally, I was coming off a 13-week suspension.
What was that for?
Just being a muppet. No, I fell on someone with my fist. And the second one was a genuine accident. Not that the first one wasn't, but the second one was a genuine accident. I flew in at a ruck, and the tackler was getting to his feet, and I'd actually collected him on the head, which was a complete accident. It was my first game back after the 8 weeks. Got red card. I got 6 weeks. I've come back, and Darren saw me, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know about this guy, Jack. I don't know about this guy, Jack." Puts me on for the last 40 minutes against West Scarborough, second half, and he's put me on at 6. And all I remember, we were playing towards Fremantle, and this kick goes through, poof, and I've chased this thing, screaming through. And as you guys know, I'm rapid. Like, I'm
fast as
fuck.
fuck.
The fastest.
10
I'll
metres
tell you
per
what, though,
second.
but you got great running form.
Do I?
Unbelievable. I was watching you sprint before training the other week, and it was textbook. Hip to lip, knees high, unreal.
Lovely. You should see me step something there. It's good. Reminds me of a young Rowita. Anyway, so I've gone for this kick chase. The fullback, who I also know, his name's Lockie Hardy. He's a very good cricketer now for West Australia. He catches this ball in the in goal, and I'm like, I'm going to nail you, mate. And as I've flown in, he's just dropped and placed this ball on the ground. I've just smacked him on the head. Hit him so late. No. Get up. I've been on the field for about 2 minutes. Yellow card. And from that in goal to our bench is not very far, is it?
No.
On the way to the bench, I can hear Darren screaming at Jack Lloyd saying, "Tell this kid to fuck off. I don't fucking want this kid." And I've walked up and I'm like, "Yeah, fair enough, man. I can see your understanding." My old man's got off the stands, walked behind the bench, and he's putting a cigarette out, and he goes, "Liam, I don't know if you want to play rugby anymore. I don't know what your plan is." And I was like, "Yeah, should we call it a day?" And he says, "Yo, but you got to make that decision, my boy."
That's a rough season there.
Oh,
Very
mate.
short, rough season.
Yeah, then I got yellow carded, didn't get put back on. I think he put Max Bailey on. I think it was one of his first grade games.
Oh, Christ, that's upsetting.
Well done on me, but
Staying on the field then, who would you say the best player you've played with?
at Pally?
Anywhere.
Well, I've got a couple, hey. My best mate, or one of my best mates that I played footy with, plays for the Wallabies now, Carlo Tizzano. I keep in touch with him all the time.
7?
Yeah, 7. He was a freak.
Yeah,
I
great
played
player.
with him when he was still a winger, and he was a batshit, mate. He was absolutely
Didn't know he was winger.
crazy. He used to play wing fullback, and he used to run at people with so much animosity, mate. And I remember he used to just run, and like, you know when you bump someone, you're kind of taking the contact.
Yeah.
He would run and like launch himself, like big lunge and bounce people off as a winger. I've gone, mate, this kid's got guts, and he was playing a year below me. And then I played a whole bunch of representative stuff, did some Force Academy stuff with him, and now he's playing for the Wallabies. So he's one of the best forwards I've played with. Another shout out goes to my mate playing in Japan right now, Brody McCaskill, who's a number 8, stands at like 6'3", probably 115 kilos, just a freak. Got footwork like a 13, runs like a winger, and he's just strong as, big tree trunk legs.
Where's he from? What club did you play with him?
He was Wanneroo Junior, then moved to West Scarborough, won a premiership at 17 in his last year of school.
Fuck me.
And then debuted for the Perth Spirit when it was still in the NPC at 17.
Wow.
He was the most talented, like, just natural athlete, and just, like, it's probably bad for me to say, but he just never looked like he was doing too much when he was training and stuff. But when you just watch him play, it was going, mate, this guy is just different. Gravy, like, just so crazy.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the Toby Folatow.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, okay.
Extremely the same, just so athletic, so fast.
Yeah.
Just big bodied, and just would just motor around the whole, and longevity, just so good. No injuries, or touch wood, like.
Yeah.
He's been good. I think he's on the verge of making the Japanese national side now.
Fuck me.
Oh, decent.
So
He's been there that long.
Yeah, he might be playing in the. I think he's playing with Aaron Smith and Peter Steph Toy and stuff. I could be wrong.
Toyota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blitz.
Blitz.
I think it's
Yeah.
for Blitz or it's the one with Izzy Folau. One of the two. I don't know, but he's a gun.
Yeah. That's some good players here, to be fair.
Fair play.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been lucky to play with a lot of good talent in my age group that have gone on and done bits.
Yeah.
But yeah, mate, I could talk about so many players.
So many, like Marcus, your buddy you're mentioning.
Oh, mate, Marcus
He's quality,
is just
isn't he?
Unreal player.
It's just a shame that he hit his straps after all the representative stuff.
Right, okay.
And like, if he had been in the form that he was 23, 24 last year when he was 18, 19, obviously thinking retrospectively.
Yeah.
But mate was just freakish, man.
Got everything, hasn't he?
When he has front foot ball, unstoppable. Got the little shimmy both sides, big fend, and his takeoff is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the way he runs, he's a funny runner, but he's so quick. Isn't
It's
he?
the stride, isn't it?
And I think that's why it's difficult. It's difficult to tackle him because
Yep.
he's just like snakes through gaps and.
And besides his attacking shape, how good does he defend as well? 13.
Yeah.
For someone to defend at 13, which is the hardest
position.
spot on the field, man.
Yeah.
You look at
Also,
him and you go, mate, come on.
Mental rig. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I know.
Great
Mental rig on him.
neck. Oh, yeah.
Shout out, Marky. We'll see you.
See you soon. When's he back? He's back soon, isn't he?
He's back in 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So me, Henny, and him have planned a little tea party.
All right.
No beers allowed, so because we're off the piss and stuff. So
Twist his arm, get him back then.
yeah, a little quiet one.
Won't take much.
He's played 4 seasons back to back, so I think the bloke needs some time off.
He does need a break. He does.
Let's hope people can hear me because I don't know if this thing's on. Yeah,
It's on. It's on now. It just doesn't work if you hold it the wrong way around generally. But
yeah, I know. I've been twisting and turning this thing, so we'll figure it out soon, eh?
I think we'll have to probably think about winding it down now. I think the camera's probably stopped recording at this stage.
All good.
But shit happens.
worries.
Any parting words, Gourlie? We'd love to have you back on one day. I reckon you could.
If you want to listen to drum and bass, just start on the liquid stuff, guys.
Shagging music.
Gradually build yourself back into it, and
Oh, see that? Liquid drum and bass. Shagging music.
what's shagging?
Don't know, but
Yeah,
I'll shag it.
And what's your thoughts on the pod anyway? And us foreigners coming
I'm a
in.
massive fan. I messaged him the other day. I think it was on Sunday.
He was laughing at me not knowing who Jack Della was.
Oh, I
What's the
couldn't believe
Northern
that.
Pike thing about, though?
City, who's Jack Taylor? This is what I can tell you about Northern Pike. It's a wind up here. What's this? God, Fish of the Year 2023. No, 1 second. City, who's Jack Taylor? This is what I can tell you about Northern Pike.
Northern
I was
Pike.
in tears. And I never usually laugh at content, but I'm sitting there going, it's because it's you as well. Your reactions are so genuine as well. You're just going, what the f-?
So what you're telling me there is you're laughing at me, not with me.
Not with you.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
not a
bit
problem.
of both. Yeah, a bit of both. We'll take it either way, mate.
But good man.
Bullying's good. Bullying's
Yeah, I'll
good.
take it as character building.
I appreciate your support of the pod. I know you have been listening since day one, and you've got a busy schedule, so I appreciate you fitting us in.
No, all good.
And thank you for coming over tonight. And we would like to get you on properly.
Yeah, all
We're
good.
definitely having one again.
Yeah,
full
sweet,
pod.
sweet.
Maybe when Sauce is away on a swing, we'll have you on as a proper
Yeah,
host
lovely. We'll do a music podcast or something, eh?
Yeah, do another one.
Another one.
Another one.
Do a drama one.
Another one. Shouts out, Sauce. We sees ya. All right, boys. That's been clean off. We're signing out. See ya.
I've actually got to say something about Instagram and TikTok now. Sorry, bud. Hold the pose. Yeah, if you want to give us a follow at Sunday Coffee Club on TikTok and Instagram. Instagram's a place to go if you want to get involved in the Sunday strolls as well. We got a link in if you tap the link in our bio, there's a link to, you'll have directions to the stroll. You got what else is there? But WhatsApp community.
WhatsApp
loads of
community.
shit on there.
Swipe up.
What's happening, girl?
Swipe up.
Swipe the fuck out.
Swipe up with your fucking hell,
Swipe
mate.
up, press the button and see what you end up in the right place, won't ya? And then like and subscribe on YouTube. Fuck. How many subscribers? We'll be past 300 now, I reckon. So
That's the plan.
sorry for now, Andy.
Ta-da, Andy. See you later.
Yeah. Cheers, like. All the best.
Proper. Cheers, mate.
Ciao.
Cheers, ghouls, bye.
Oh, good.
Good man.
Ta-da, bad.